Haikushio Chugonabira. I'm Robert Fija Kajiwara. Thank you to Carlos Martinez and No Cold War for inviting me to speak today. Thank you also to all of the other presenters and to everyone watching. I am native Ryukyuan, also known as Okinawan or Uchinanchu. I'm also native Hawaiian. Before we continue, I should mention that this video contains images of graphic violence and warfare. Viewer discretion is advised. I am president of Uchinawa Nushinka, or Peace for Okinawa Coalition, headquartered in Uchinanchu, or Okinawa City. We are a non-profit organization founded and led by millennial Ryukyuans, or Uchinanchu, in order to promote Ryukyu culture, history, languages, and issues. We work closely with many other groups in Ryukyu, particularly the Ryukyu Independence Action Network, founded by Mr. Shigenori Yamahara. We also work with many other groups abroad, particularly with Native Hawaiians and other indigenous peoples. Ryukyuans are the indigenous peoples of the Ryukyu Islands as recognized by UNESCO, CERD, the UN Human Rights Committee, and many other organizations and scholars. According to archaeologists, Ryukyuans have inhabited the Ryukyu Islands for over 32,000 years. We have our own unique history, culture, languages, and identity. Historically, Ryukyu had very close, friendly, and mutually beneficial relationships with China, Korea, and Southeast Asia. Ryukyu was a center of international trade, finance, diplomacy, and cross-cultural exchange, and Ryukyu has never declared war on another nation. In the year 1609, the Satsuma clan of Japan, which was Japan's largest and most warlike clan, attacked Ryukyu, forcing Ryukyuans to pay tribute. However, Ryukyu maintained its sovereignty and continued to thrive as an independent country. During the mid-19th century, Ryukyu became internationally recognized by the Western nations as an independent country with the signing of treaties with the United States, France, and the Netherlands. In 1879, Japan used its new Western-style military to illegally annex Ryukyu against the will of Ryukyuans. Ryukyuans appealed to their friend China for help, but China at the time was too weak. During World War II, Japan intentionally placed an inordinate amount of military presence onto Uchina, or Okinawa Island, with the deliberate intent of sacrificing Uchinanchu, or Okinawans, in order to protect Japan. This resulted in the Battle of Okinawa in 1945, in which more than 1/4 of the Uchinanchu population was killed during a time span of just 3 months. Japanese soldiers intentionally murdered thousands of Uchinanchu, including women, children, and the elderly, and also forced thousands others to commit suicide. After the war, most of Japan's other colonies received back their independence except for Ryukyu, because the United States military decided to keep Ryukyu for itself to use for military bases. Ryukyuans lived under direct U.S. military rule, had no form of democracy, and strongly opposed the U.S. military. Professor Hoshin Nakamura of Okinawa University survived the Battle of Okinawa but lost his younger brother. He has been an advocate for the restoration of Ryukyu's independence for over 50 years. He and other Ryukyuans at the time demanded a restoration of Ryukyu's independence, but the U.S. ignored these demands and in 1972 gave Ryukyu to Japan without a vote from Ryukyuans, which is illegal under international law, and since then, Ryukyuans have lived under joint U.S. and Japanese occupation. Professor Nakamura told me that during the Vietnam War, the U.S. military said that they are in Okinawa in order to protect Okinawans from the Viet Cong. However, the Viet Cong won the war and never invaded Okinawa. Now, the US military is saying the exact same thing about China. However, due to the long history of peace and friendship between China and Ryukyu, the overwhelming majority of Ryukyuans do not see China as a threat. Even the US government has privately admitted this via WikiLeaks. Ryukyu shares an ocean border with China, so if the overwhelming majority of Ryukyuans don't see China as a threat, the US and other nations should also be asking, is China truly a military threat? The truth is, around 80 to 90% of Ryukyuans or Uchinanchu oppose the US military presence of our islands. Although Uchina or Okinawa makes up less than 1% of Japan's land area, it contains over 70% of the military presence, including 30,000 US soldiers, along with their families, as well as American civilian workers, making for a total of around 80,000 Americans. These Americans often commit crime in Uchina, including violent crime against women and children. Also, US military aircraft often have accidents in Uchina, endangering the lives of both Uchinanchu civilians as well as the soldiers themselves. The military also causes numerous environmental problems, including the poisoning of Uchina's drinking water with cancer-causing agents. The military takes up over 15% of Uchina's land and around 30% of the arable land, yet contributes only around 5% to the economy, running at a huge economic burden on the Uchinanchu people. Given all of these problems, we hope you can see why we strongly dislike the military occupation of our islands. We are working to restore Ryukyu's rightful independence, remove the military from our islands, and once again make Ryukyu a center for peace and prosperity. I'm just about out of time for today, so I'll end here. Thank you again to everyone for watching. If you would like more information, please check out our website, peaceforokinawa.org. Thank you again, and I'll see you next time.